Hey everybody, welcome back to UE5 PP Guru. In today's episode we're going to be looking at changing our grenades and also adding all the functionality like ammo and HUD allocation in this episode. So there's quite a bit to get through. If you didn't see how we set up our grenade throw, I will show it off now, what we did last episode. Then you need to go back and watch that. There we go, a couple of grenades going off there. So yeah, we set that up last episode. If you haven't seen that episode, I advise go back and check it out. I've set up a couple of things now. I set the grenade. This was the grenade we set up for in last episode. I set that to red and called it red grenade. Changed the name. And the blue, I duplicated it, so I didn't change anything. I just duplicated it and called it blue grenade, and I gave it some blue color. And then we have our master BP. Before we go into that though, we just quickly want to create a couple of variables for us to use. The first thing we want to do is go into our third person character. We want to, just down here in variables, we want to create, let's call this, we want to call this P. If I scroll down a bit, P grenade active. We want a second boolean called S grenade active. Now that stands for secondary and primary grenade. Okay. We also want to add another variable. We'll call this PG for P grenade max. We want, you probably guessed it, SG max. Let's set those to integers. We want another 2 for PG current and SG current. Now you might want to categorize these as grenades and just put all those in together under the, oh no, wrong one, under the grenade section. That way you're, I need to do this for the rest, obviously, but it just means you can find what you're looking for a lot easier when you're dealing with variables. Because, as you can imagine, there is a ton of variables that go into making video games. So, categorizing them will... Oh, I just put unladder in there. Oops, my mistake. Put that back to default. Whoops. You'll want to keep them all together so you can find them easier down the line, for sure. So, now we set up last time a couple of variables. One was grenade. Go and create another variable if you haven't already called change grenade. So mine is set up to 3. Let's put in grenade change, that's what I called it. I've set mine up to 3, so when I press 3 it'll flip-flop between the 2 different types of grenades, or I've used it as the left bumper on the gamepad. So you've probably guessed it, the first thing we want is we just need a flip-flop, and then we want to get those 2 new variables, grenade, P grenade active. We're going to set that, and we want to set that. There's no other conditions we have to worry about for this, other than what we're setting our grenades to. So upon game start, we will want to set our primary grenade to true and our secondary grenade now this will change when we first make games because we won't have a grenade, right? So technically you want them both set to nothing, and then you'd pick up a grenade, and depending on what you pick up first, that will set that to true. Okay, and that will become your active grenade. So there's probably going to be, when we set up our grenade pickups, there's going to be something there we have to set up in order to make sure it's right, but we're not doing that today. So for this tutorial, we're going to set up our primary grenade to true, so that when we flip-flop it, because we have that set to true. Now when we do that pickup, we'll also want to create a secondary thing. We want to create our secondary grenade to true on this time, because our primary will already be true, which will untick our primary grenade. And then we also want to come down here and turn our primary grenade on when we re-flip-flop it. Okay, that's all we need to do for that for the time being. So we can comment that off and call it a grenade change. I don't know if I spelled that right, but we'll go with it. Just keep it near the other grenade stuff for now. I mean, you could even be like, look, I'll just put it in there for now, or whatever, however you want to do it. Okay, so that should be working. We won't be able to test this until we get everything else going, but that should be working for now. Someone asked me a couple of days ago, I think it was Friday, about the aim for your third-person camera. To do that, you need to find where you flip-flop your camera. Where is mine? It's here. Okay. We need to come off either the first or the third-person camera. Because we're flip-flopping it into here and we start in our first-person position, I've done it for the third person here. So I've pulled off this, and I've basically, if you pull off, you've got this promote to variable. Promote it to variable, call it active camera, that's fine. And that will set, it's just a variable, so it won't do anything within your game at this point. It'll just say that this is set, our active camera is set to our third person camera. The next thing you then want to do is where we set our first person camera, when we flip flop it back to first person camera, set this to your active camera again. Okay, and what that'll do is every time it flip flops, it'll just set that to be your active camera within that variable. And all you need to do is find where your shooting is, so pistol shooting for example, and plug in active camera. And so this was set to first person camera, change this to that active camera variable. It should plug straight in. I've done it for the rifle as well, and all it does is it will allow you to, so you'll see it now, it just shoots to wherever the middle of the camera is, and then when I first person shoot, it does the same thing. So it does work perfectly fine. I need to work on the clipping of the camera, because that seems to be what, for some reason it sets it weirdly sometimes. It doesn't always do it, but it does do it sometimes. But it's fine. It's aiming for basically the front of the camera. Alright, so that fixes that issue perfectly fine. Hopefully that's helped you guys. Now you want to open up your grenade master for the next part. So as I mentioned, I've set these two grenades up, right? So at the moment, this will always set this to, it sets this grenade to the red grenade, okay? So we want a branch, basically, that checks to see if the red grenade is set up, right? Which is this one. So we need to now on event begin play, other than setting that timer up beforehand, we want to cast to our third person character. Okay, get the player character, I think that's fine, should be okay. And then we just want to promote this to a variable, and as we have every other time, we'll just call it TPC. Okay, so change that to third person character TPC. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to drag off from this. We want to get P grenade active. So that's our primary grenade, okay? And plug that in there. Then we want to pull off and do another branch. Okay, and we're checking now to see if that is our secondary. No, S grenade. So we want to see if that's our S grenade is active. Okay, you can do this for multiple different grenades. It's fine. This isn't the brunt of it, so this won't change the look of the grenade. All this is going to do, the only reason we're doing this is to change that red grenade explosion to the blue grenade explosion. You probably, if you were going to have the same colored explosion for all of them, you wouldn't need to worry. You might want to do this if you had a smoke grenade, or if you had a flash grenade. You might want to spawn something different. But for me, in this example, I want to just get that grenade, that blue grenade explosion, right? The light explosion, that's what they call it, the light explosion. But we'll keep the explosive force, all the other stuff is fine. Okay, so compile. Now we want to do some HUD work now, first of all. I'm just thinking of what else I need to do. So I want to change the skeletal mesh depending on there's one other thing we could do in here. I suppose we could do it in here. We want to set this skeletal mesh, right? We'll do this on an event tick. Now I don't like using event ticks to be perfectly honest. We could actually, instead of doing that, no, because that's the detonation function. I don't want to do that. I was thinking I could set the skeletal mesh and the explosion function, but the grenade will already be spawning within your hand, right? Let's try this way and see if it works. So we'll check. For now, I mean, I could set this up the usual way. I just want to check to see if it's the primary grenade, I suppose. If it's true, we'll set the grenade set skeletal mesh. If it's true, we'll do this one. So we'll set this to our red grenade. And for anything else, we'll go for the blue grenade, okay? So, let's do blue grenade, okay? Plug that in, compile. So now, theoretically, as long as that event tick does work, what should happen is, if it's set to the primary grenade, it'll throw the red one. But if I swap it, and I set it to non-primary, so the secondary one, it should, in theory, set it to the blue one. And in theory, if I had just check for the primary grenade being active, it would have just run down to do this anyway. But this is more of a setup if you are looking to... that should be true, by the way, not false. Just FYI. If you wanted to add more than 2 grenades, you could do it this way. And again, you could also do this that same method down there. So if you wanted 3 or 4 grenades, you could just branch off another one, say this is true for secondary, branch off again, say it's true for flash grenades, and so on and so forth. So let's just check that this works so far. So we should throw a grenade. It's our red grenade. If we press 3 now and throw a grenade again. Oh, it changed early. Oh. Okay, let's change again. Let's just see that. Because I check. Interesting. So what we want to do then, to stop that happening, we want a new variable that is grenade thrown, for example, so that when it's spawned, we set the new variable to true, and after it's destroyed, we reset that same variable to false. Okay, so that way we can't change the grenade after we've thrown it. Okay. So we press the G button. So we need to check to see. So we want a branch here. Plug that in. We'll set up a new variable, a new boolean. But call it grenade. Oh, grenade thrown. Like so. Plug that in. So we will only fire this when the grenade has been thrown. We only fire this if a grenade hasn't been recently thrown. So we'll set that to false. So yeah, we want it. So it's checking to see, is the grenade been thrown. If it's true, it'll do nothing. If it's false, it'll throw a grenade. So that's a good start. We want this to run down everything, and we don't want to be able to throw another one or change anything if that grenade's been thrown. So come back into here. We don't want to fire, we don't want to uncheck our grenade until it's blown up. So with our TPC, we want to basically get that that variable off of our third person character. So thrown, grenade thrown, set grenade thrown back to false. And we want to do that for everything, right? So put that back in there. I suppose we could do it actually after. Oh, that's probably not a bad idea. We could have probably done that. You probably could have set it after this, so that set that event by timer. But it doesn't really matter if you throw it at the end of there or at the beginning of that. That should be fine. Now let's see what happens. So I throw a grenade. I'll throw another one. It's red. So that was green. That was blue, sorry. I changed it. It's still doing it. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I see why. Because I've not actually set the grenade thrown to true. So it constantly thinks it's not true. Set grenade thrown to true. So now it's checking to see if that's false. It says, yeah, it is false. It'll now set it to true, fire down the line, and then it won't set it back to false until that's happened. So let's retry it now. So there goes a red one. We change grenade. Blue. Oh. Still doing it. Let's have a look. Is that because it's getting ignored because of this, maybe? I think this is where we'll need a branch here, maybe. And we want to come off of this and get grenade thrown. If it's true, we don't want it to do anything, and if it's false, we'll go into here. So I want to change a few things here, I think. First off, let's pull that out. I'm going to move this into that event tick because I want it to constantly be checking. I firstly want it to constantly be checking to see those variables change. That's the first thing I want. Yeah, so maybe I don't need to do that. That's a good point, I guess. I probably want to do the same thing here. We don't want to change grenades if we've thrown. So let's do that. And has grenade been thrown? True. pull off from the false. Sorry, not the true, the false. So as long as there's the grenades not being thrown, we can change this. That should help with what this grenade is picking up here, because there was nothing stopping this, it was still firing even though the grenade had been thrown. And what that's doing is it's forcing this to just check after the detonation. So if I change it while I'm throwing a grenade, the colors will still change for the explosion, right? So that should solve that issue. So let's throw that grenade. If I press 3 now, nothing should happen. Oh, something's... Well, the grenade's working. And I can't throw grenades. Okay, that worked. That worked. Okay. If I change it again, I'm going to just try one more time. Okay, that's working. Now the grenade's blown up. Let's try and throw a red one. There we go. It should be red. Yeah, there we go. That's working now. Right, that's working a real treat. So we've got the grenades set up now. So that was what I was missing. I basically just don't want to be able to change this when I'm throwing a grenade. Otherwise it throws off that blue explosion for the detonation. Okay. I don't really know how you would stop that. I guess you'd have to run another branch to check if the grenade's been thrown in that section, but because I didn't put it in there, nothing really changed with that. I guess you just have to stop it before that detonation. And also it stops players just spamming grenades. Like if you had 7 grenades, I suppose it stops that, right? So they can, I mean, that, I don't know. I suppose in real life you could keep throwing grenades. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at it. But it is working now, so that's fine. The last thing we want to do is add in the HUD functionality now. So if we open up our HUD, we kind of want to do what we did here, but we want to add an extra little thing, which is a color that tells you what grenade is being used. So I think I probably want to have, so the max grenades we're going to be able to have is 5 of each. So let's duplicate all of this first off. They're down there, that's where they are. Okay, weird, but let's just drag them into the scene. There we go, right. Okay, we want to set this to just 1, so you can shorten the box and bring it to about there, and the line can come just next to it. Like that. Cool. And then not much will have to be changed with that, I guess. There we go. Right. Cool. So we want to bind the text. So we'll create a binding. Let's name that. Did I pick the right or the left? I think it was the left. We'll call this Grenade Reserve. Come off. Where is it? Event graph? No. Designer maybe? Yeah, it was our reserve. And then we want to get our current. We'll set that to be our current grenade. No, I'll change the name of that. Current grenade. Okay. And this is going to be very similar to our ammo reserve. Now, we're going to want this to be very similar in a sense. So Oh no, we want current ammo, right? I think it's exactly the same, to be fair. So go into current grenade, drop that off. Now, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this from scratch, because this one's going to be more confusing. So we want cast to third person character, like so. Get player character. We want to now we want to get, we want a branch, so we want to we want to get primary grenade. We want to check to see if that primary grenade is active in a branch, because we need to know first of all, which ammo we're using, right? Which grenade we're using. Now, I've just thought about this, to be perfectly honest. I've just thought this through. Clearly, I didn't do much research. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of... We don't need a grenade reserve, right? We just need to know how many we've got. So, what's really good about that is we can just set up what grenade ammo we've got. What we do need, though, is we need an image. And it doesn't really matter what size you use. I'm just going to make a little white square. Okay? And we are going to set all of this as... Well, they already are set up as variables. Great. So, what we're going to do is, instead of having a reserve, we don't need a reserve. All we need to know is what our max grenades are that we can hold, and what we currently have. So if our max is 5 and we have 4, we want to display the 4. We don't need we haven't got a reserve of ammo, because however many grenades we've got is our reserve technically. So we just want to manipulate this color now to show us what grenade we have active. So we want to get our... Now if this P grenade is active, we need to get our new image. Get image, set color and occupancy. And we want for our main grenade it to be red. Okay, that's all we need to do for that one. And then we just need to pull off from our third person character, and we want to get we want to get our grenade. We want to get our primary grenade current, and we want to set that as our color, as our figure that we have, right? And we've got a color now. Okay. We then want to copy this, paste that down there, plug her in, and all we need to do is when we've got a blue one, we want to change it to blue. Okay, so we know we've got our blue grenade or we've got our red grenade active. And then we just need to get our secondary, oh no, sorry, it's called S grenade. Let's just put in grenade. We want SG current, sorry, that's what we want. And plug that in and get a second return node just down here. Plug this in and plug that in. And in theory, as long as we actually have some grenades, we can use them. Now, there is one last thing we need to do, just one last thing, and all that is we need to make it so that we check to see if we have enough grenades, basically. Okay. So let's first off go into our third person character. Let's find our grenades and let's set our current grenades to 4 for each. Okay. We can set the max. I'm only ever going to allow to hold 5 of each grenade for now, so that's our max. Okay. Compile that. Press play. let's bring out our grenade. Oh, interesting. Player HUD. Go to the designer. Set that. Anchor it. I think it's probably because I haven't anchored it, to be fair, because I haven't set it up to disappear when it's not active. So it should still be there at all times. Let's compile that. Try it again. Oh, there we go. Well, our figure's there. It's not set to red. Okay, so... Oh, it's because I haven't actually clicked on the binding, right? And it also should be current grenade set to as well. So let's compile that. That should now work. So we have our red grenade active. Let's throw it. It should be a red grenade. Yep, lovely. Now, because there's no functionality yet in amongst the actual grenade deducting stuff, that's why it's not actually changing that figure. So it thinks we've always got 4 grenades. So what we need to do in the next episode is we need to set up our grenade pickup. So we've got actual grenades around in the world, we can pick them up, and also we need to amend the actual grenade functionality just to add in that grenade deduction. So that's what's going to happen in the next episode. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. I hope this has been really helpful to you. We are coming to the end of our grenade section, so if you're there going, oh my god, why has he not finished the grenades? It will be tomorrow, will be the last grenade episode. So thanks so much, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.